Thanks, Alice. Hello, good evening, everyone. I'm welcoming everybody to the Larkspur Park and Recreation Commission meeting of Thursday, November 17th of the year 2022. I want to extend a special welcome to our newest commissioner, Reed Baxter. Thank you for stepping up and serving our community. Allison, the first item is a roll call, if I could ask you to do so.
Commissioner Baxter.
Here.
Commissioner Keppel.
Here.
Commissioner Harrison.
Here.
Chair Friedel.
Here.
And I'll note Vice Chair Sunshine is absent.
Perfect. Nick, are you really in two places at once?
Yeah.
The second item on the agenda is public comment, for which we will entertain comments from the public and items not listed on the agenda. And I will note that we had one public comment submitted, and it is in our record. Allison, any raised hands?
Yes, I'm looking for raised hands from our audience members. Our first comment will come from Chuck Finney.
All right, thank you. Hello, Chuck. Go ahead, state your name and your address.
Hello, my name is Chuck Finney. I reside at 707 Via Casitas in Greenbrae, Larkspur.
Okay.
Am I on camera as well, or am I just?
No, you're just on, just your name and we can hear you.
Great, okay, terrific. Thanks for having me. Yeah, again, my name is Chuck Finney. I am here on behalf of about, I would say a group of about 36, more than 36 now, area residents who get together on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday afternoons to play pickleball in Court 3. And just here to say hello, first of all, and then really for two things. One, to say thank you to this commission and to Mr. Stone and to the department for lining that court number 3, that tennis court number 3 before the pandemic. The experiment's been a huge success with the turnout, and we're so grateful for it. And then the other reason was we just wanted to show up tonight and share with you just a few short-term asks, an intermediate hope or two, and maybe I'll call it a long-term dream for your consideration. I understand this is public comment and it's not a back and forth, so I'm just here to kind of pass this along. Mr. Stone is incredibly responsive, and we have ongoing, discussion about these things. So I'll just start with the near term. One is as we get near the end of the calendar year and start to plan your programming for the calendar year 2023, and also as you start to think about maintenance budgets in your upcoming fiscal year planning, we wanted to ask that one, if you could continue to prioritize Court 3 for pickleball when you're programming rec and park activities, tennis activities. If you could just continue to, when you're programming those events, just choose Court 3 last if you don't need all 3, because our group, again, today we had 20 folks out there playing, and we know that there's other similarly differently organized groups who show up, but pretty much 3 weekdays a week we have all 4 pickleball courts going with open play, where people play and they jump off and another pair jumps in, or another 4 jumps in. So it's been super successful. So we're just hoping you can continue to prioritize that in your planning. And then maybe on the equipment and maintenance front, I know Nick is now aware of this too, but we've got some cracking on that court. So hopefully you can think about some, resurfacing in your operations maintenance budget coming up. Another hope of many of our members, many of us come to the court with our own nets, so we set them up so people can use them. But there is, there's a product out there, a few products of rolling pickleball nets that can be, if you were to buy 4 of them, they could be rolled on and off the court when pickleball is being used, or pickleball is being played, and when it's not. They have breaks, and they're terrific, and they'd be an opportunity, I think, particularly for young people who don't buy nets and don't show up fully equipped. But I think as the sport becomes more interest to young people, that would be a way to get young people involved too. Just moving on to our intermediate sort of hopes. we would hope we hope that you guys will give some kids consideration in the not too distant future to possibly lining court number 4 for pickleball as well. We're not asking to sort of take over the court at all, but we frequently find that we have, well over 16 people waiting to, who are out to play on court number 3, and frequently court number 4 is not in use. We don't want to take that away from the tennis community at all, but if it were lined, it would be an opportunity for some spillover and some sharing over that court. And I think then just lastly, sort of long term, and this definitely falls into the dream category. If there's ever some long-term capital planning about adding facilities, I guarantee you that if a plan and funding could be put together involving, residents, the private sector as well, to install permanent pickleball courts somewhere in the Piper Park complex, they would be an awesome resource for the community and an opportunity to really, for the pickleball world to start holding tournaments in town, and make it a real hub for the sport. So those are the things that our folks have been talking about as we get together and play and sit on the sidelines and wait to get on the court. And we just wanted to show up today and share some of those thoughts with you. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you for lining that court. And thank you so much to Nick to being, in regular touch with us and being so responsive to our interests and questions. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Chuck. And if you're still there, as you know, we can't comment or have a conversation about it, but at least it's on everyone's radar. Thank you for the comments.
Thank you so much.
Anything else, Allison?
Looking for any additional raised hands from our audience members? There's no further public comment.
Thank you, Allison. And then the fact that the public comment 2.1 made it on the agenda, we don't need to read it, right? It's public record.
Yes, just for to read ahead of time.
Perfect. Thank you. Item 3 on the agenda is the approval of the consent calendar, with the only item being 3.1, which is the minutes of our October 20th meeting. I will entertain a motion and discussion.
I'll go ahead and make a motion that we should approve the minutes as provided to us.
Is there a
And I'll
second?
second that.
Any discussion? All right. Allison, do you need a roll call vote?
Yes, we'll go quickly. Commissioner Baxter,
Aye.
Commissioner Keppel,
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison,
Aye.
Chair Friedel.
I wasn't there, but yes, I read the minutes.
Thank
you. We don't have any public hearings. Shame. So business item 5.1 is the future of tree hearings. Everyone should have gotten that in their packet. And I've been made aware that City Manager Dan Schwartz will not be joining us, and the illustrious Nick Stone will fill in for him.
Yes, Dan Schwartz wanted to pass on that he is very apologetic not being able to make it. It was something that he had on his radar and something came up. So so the tree hearings are, I think we've had conversations with this in the commission before, but and I've explained to Commissioner Baxter what the tree hearings are for the heritage trees in the city of Larkspur. And historically, I think this was passed to the Park and Rec Commission at some point during the recession, the Great Recession, as a way to add some more work onto the plate of the then Park and Rec director. And so right now there's been staff conversations about where the most appropriate place for heritage tree hearings are, whether that's potentially with the Planning Commission. And so right now we're just kind of looking for feedback from the Park and Rec Commission on thoughts and feelings about that.
All right, so it's a business item, but anyone up here, well, if we were on a dais, have comments or questions about this for Nick? Mike, no, well, I don't know if anyone knows. I think I'm like the oldest one here, figuratively and literally. But we've had this conversation several times. And in the past, I felt like this commission has fought really hard to keep this within our purview. I think it makes more sense in planning for me. Ultimately, the only question I had when I saw this come back up again, and this is actually the first time that Dan sort of weighed in at this level, it's more been a conversation we've had amongst ourselves, is I just am curious how often our rulings were overturned. Were we did planning and the council have to reverse anything we put forth? It just made me curious. Sort of a report card if you are in fact looking to take this area of concern away from this commission. I'm not necessarily against it. I'm just curious what our approval rating was.
Good.
I would bet we got it right most of the time.
I do not have an official count. I do know that it has happened, but I don't believe that it's happened very often.
Yeah. So Nick, you want recommendation from this commission as to whether we're comfortable releasing this, or is it what do you need from us for this?
Eventually, Dan Schwartz is going to bring that to city council. So he is looking for, at this point, just feedback.
Okay, Mike or Vicky, Reed, I don't know that you're ready. If you want to weigh in on this, you're more than welcome. Vicky?
Is there any indication where it would move to?
Yes,
Planning.
planning committee.
Planning.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the one thing that has been nice about this commission, listening to the hearings and hearing from residents, is that we are residents ourselves. And so we're looking at it not only in our role as being a commissioner, but also as someone who lives in the city of Larkspur. And I do think that that brings value, certainly because of the way it's structured. If we do get it wrong, so to speak, or should the city council in appeal look at it, they certainly have the ability to, to rectify the situation. But I do think that there's some logic and some value in having a commission such as ours have an opportunity to weigh in on the tree hearings.
Yeah. Commissioner Capel?
I personally, I would be sad to see it go. I feel as a commission, we've been doing a pretty decent job of it. Our commission doesn't have an overabundance of issues that we deal with. And I feel as though if it was taken away, it would give us less to do as a commission. I think that we've been pretty fair and reasonable when it comes to our overview of the different cases. And personally, if I would prefer for it to stay with the commission.
Okay. Commissioner Baxter, do you have a comment you'd like to weigh in on?
Yeah, thank you very much. I would defer to the more senior commissioners on this matter, although I would give a plug. I've had the pleasure of working with Elise Simonian and planning department on a fairly frequent basis, and I think she's extremely competent and could certainly handle this if it needed to go that way. But I support the more senior commissioners' decisions at this point.
And quite honestly, I mean, I know I've been part of this conversation, I think at least 3 times. And I back my commissioners. I believe that it gives us an insight into the community that we might not have. Our other areas of purview are very obviously centered on parks, and they're very specific and they're more operational in tone. And I think that the tree hearings do give us a point of access to the community that we might not have otherwise. That's global versus park centric. And I know that's in our title, but I agree. I think that we do a pretty good job of weeding through it, no pun intended, and like I said, I would be really curious to see how often anybody either at the planning level or at the commission level, overturned a ruling that we put down. Like, I believe we've been very fair about it. So I don't know if that's enough comment for City Manager Dan Schwartz, but
Yeah, I think this is what he was looking for. So this kind of feedback. So thank you.
okay. Is that you're good then, Nick?
As long as you've provided everything, yeah.
Okay. Item 5.2 is a parks update. We have Public Works Administrative Analyst 2, Rita Schock here. That's quite a title, Rita. You're muted too, hon.
Hello, everybody. All right, we're gonna make this happen this time. Good evening, commissioners, Chair Fidel, Commissioner Harrison, Capel, and I haven't had the chance to meet our new Commissioner Baxter, but hello, my name is Rita Schock. I'm with the Public Works Department, and I am your parks lady. Okay, and I'm also known for being absolutely spastic with trying to get my PowerPoints up. So what do we see on the screen?
We see your full
We see
PowerPoint presentation, not
Sweet.
in presentation mode.
Okay. And now we see it in presentation mode, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. So this is our monthly parks update and got lots of exciting things happening in our parks. First one, Dolliver Park. Woo! Construction started on Monday. Super exciting. And coincidentally, the low bidder on this project was the company I used to work for. So that's the guy on the white-haired gentleman was my former boss for 8 years. And then Bill on the left was one of the field superintendents that I used to manage on my different projects. Anyway, if you go by Dolliver Park, you'll see construction fencing up. They're starting to dig holes, and it's kind of exciting. It's always fun when it's construction starts. So this will be about a 5-week project. The installation of the playground, the play equipment will happen over the next 3 or so weeks. And then the fencing and the playground borders will go in. And then the final thing will be the wood fiber safety surfacing gets blown in, and then they remove the temporary fence. So with that in mind, it's the end of the project is going to be in around Christmas time. So the donor has let me know that they prefer to, and so Commissioner Baxter, just as a background, this project was funded by a private donor, but he really wishes to stay anonymous. And so he said he says, I think you guys should have a grand opening, but I'm going to stay in the background. If you want to have it, you go ahead. So with that in mind, since this will be ending in around Christmas time, we probably, if we want to do a grand opening and ribbon cutting, it should probably be maybe the first or second week of January. And so I'm going to ask Franklin to send all of you an email indicating your thoughts, whether or not you want to have it on a Saturday morning, or if you'd prefer to do it like on a weekday, like maybe like a Friday morning or something like that. Let's see what else. And then just as a reminder, part of the creation of this tot playground at Dolliver Park include the removal of that the metal climber that you see, and that'll end up being reinstalled over at Greenbrae School Park. So these two projects are combined. Any questions so far? Oh, you know what? I can't see anybody.
Commissioner Capel has a question.
Yeah.
More of a comment, Rita. I just while we're talking about Dolliver Park, I did walk by that park yesterday, and I noticed a real estate for sale sign on the corner there, which I thought was strange. I don't know if the house that's located right next to the park was for sale, but I think that might. It appears as though it's right on the corner where the that trailer is parked.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah,
Huh.
so I just thought I'd comment, make a comment
Yeah.
and let you know about that, because I think it might be confusing for the public. If it is indeed the house next door, but it's really
Right.
right on the corner, right where that
Okay.
trailer is. So
Yeah, we could give
anyway.
them a call and tell them, as long as it's, I mean, if it's on park property, we can definitely have them move it. So
It's definitely on park property.
it is. Okay, all
Yeah.
right. I'll send something to our maintenance department and they can just take care of that. Okay. Any other, and I'm sorry, my screen is such that I can't really see if anybody's got a hand up. So if you have something, just start talking and then I'll stop. Okay. Okay, I'm going to move on to Hamilton Park. So I touched on this briefly last time, but I couldn't remember where we left off because we had to cut the meeting short. But Hamilton Park, the path, the circular path around Hamilton has been completely repaved. Looks so good. So many people are using it now, and we will be. One of the things I wanted, so the main thing with replacing the path is that it's eliminated this trip hazards. The asphalt was just so aged. This looks so much better, and so people are using it. And the thing that I really want to emphasize is you can see the creek view has been restored. So anywhere in the back of the park, if you sit, you can sit and you can watch the view. And I just want to mention the genesis of this park was this land was donated to the city by Mrs. Clarabelle Hamilton back in the 70s. And she was a resident of the Tamalpais retirement home. And she saw all the development that was happening on South Alicio and purchased this, one of the last plots of land for $38,000 and donated it to the city. And the reason she did that is she wanted to preserve creek access. So I just want to let you know that we have honored her legacy and her vision. We continue to honor it. And, just by creating these creek views again, I just feel like we're just honoring her. So it makes me feel good. And I hope it makes you feel good too. What else is coming for Hamilton? We're replacing these old picnic tables. I have a new drinking fountain that'll be going in. And then I've got an Eagle Scout candidate who has come forward, and he's gonna replace this ugly irrigation box that's right in the front and reconfigure the benches. So it'll get a very nice facelift by the time it's done. Any questions so far? No. Okay. Niven Park. Woohoo! I just wanted to show you really, this is a big project. It's, even though it just looks like we just replaced the concrete. I mean, this is like a lot of man hours, lots of heavy equipment. I mean, look at this big boom, concrete boom truck, pouring in the concrete. I just get super excited when I see all this heavy equipment. I don't know, it's weird, but it's exciting. I pulled up, I'm like, oh my gosh. So just the before and after, look. Yep. I mean, it was just full of grass and just overgrown. The tables and chairs are completely weathered. Now it's, nicely paved. We've put in 13 new trees, including 3 trees in the picnic area itself to create more shade over the, eventually over the tables and chairs. There's a pad in the before picture. You can see 2 bicycle racks in between the tables. They were in the picnic area, so I had them removed, and they're across the pathway in its own little pad. And then the trash receptacles will go over there instead of next to the tables and benches. It's not particularly pleasant. Also, we have a brand new drinking fountain with a doggy bowl and a bottle filler. So heavily used now. I was out here in this area Monday and Tuesday
promoting the community build event that's going to be happening tomorrow morning. So, I just set up next to the drinking fountain. I was, I look like a used car salesman or something. People were like, "Oh, I don't want to talk to you." I'm like, "I'm not selling anything. I'm not asking for donations. I'm just inviting you to this event." So, but people really are enjoying the fountain, and they're just really, this is just enlivened this whole area. It just feels like like this wonderful plaza. And then you can see the new tables and chairs that are going to be put in there. Commissioner Harrison has a little party of 4 or 5 that'll be coming to help us assemble that, along with maybe 5 or 6 residents. So that's it's nice to have the community involved.
Just a point, Rita, last night at council, Councilman Way gave this a plug.
Oh, she did. Oh, lovely.
And then
Okay.
there was an article in the IJ that she mentioned as well. So you might have a couple
Yes.
more people.
Okay. Okay, so then moving on to, so this is what's been completed, and then just a reminder of what's going to be happening. So at the last city council meeting, the plans for the new playground were approved. So getting this package together to go out to bid. Probably the advertising won't happen until January, because there's still a couple things we need to pull together. So again, Councilmember Baxter, just in case you didn't know, this is another privately funded project in one of our parks, and this will be quite a bit bigger. So the little structure that you see over in the lower left-hand corner is what's there now, and then the plans that you see up on the right-hand side is what it's going to be, that's coming. And there was an article, I think the article that you might be referring to, there was a wonderful article about the Convex. That's the name of the couple that is donating the money for this project. Yeah, it was a lovely article, just a beautiful article about them in the IJ yesterday, or the day before maybe. Okay, and then the last little project is the electrical feed to the picnic area. It should have been just a kind of a slam dunk little project, but because this area, the Piper Park, is built on an old landfill, the County of Marin's health department, or it's the environmental health department, stepped in, and they said that we needed to do a worker safety plan, and so I ended up hiring a consultant. Anyway, long story short, we got all the sort of administrative stuff out of the way, and the work will begin the Monday after Thanksgiving. So just as a reminder, the electrical feed, it's just basically running electrical underneath the parking lot from the area where, what's the best way to describe this area? It's near Hall Middle School, and then we'll do a horizontal bore underneath the parking lot all the way to the picnic area at Piper, and then that'll create electricity in that area, and we can use it for lots of different things. So
Very exciting to have that.
yep, and so sorry that just took so long, but it was almost like it's almost like the little project that wouldn't, It's kind of nutty. Okay, that is it for my update. And
Well, I saw
Any
Commissioner
questions?
Capel's hand up, but
Okay.
before I take questions, I just want to say amazing job, great report as
Thank
always.
you.
Thank you for all that information. That's a lot of work that went into all that. So thank you.
Thank you. So-
Mike, I saw you, Miss Commissioner Capel, you had a question I saw, sorry.
Yeah, Rita, would it be possible for you to send a link to the commissioners for the article in the IJ?
Oh, sure, of course.
That'd be great. I'd like to really see that.
Okay. I will do that.
Yeah, like I said, Councilman Way gave a big shout out to the work project, and anybody who wanted to come down. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, we should be good. I was a little worried that I didn't have a lot of signups as of last week, and that's why I did my little woman in the park thing. I was out there on Monday and Tuesday, but it was good. It really gave me a chance to meet a lot of people and got a lot of feedback. People were excited about all the upgrades and whatnot. So
Commissioner Harrison has a question.
Yeah, I just want to echo what you said. This is an incredible amount of work at a variety of different locations. I think it's fabulous and so exciting to see. And I know that what's been going on in Niven, the planting of the trees and what's coming down the pike, people, it's got a nice sense of energy to it. Yeah, I got my tool belt and I've got my safety glasses and I'm ready to rock tomorrow.
You. Yeah, thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate it. I mean, it's funny. There was just a lot of these projects I thought were going to start sooner, but it's just like all the things got delayed and what have you. It seems like everything is starting, October, November. It's just it's loony. So, but it's all coming. Things are starting to. Like that, the picnic area being completed, the planting area being completed, I'm still waiting for those signs to come, but there's like things are finally starting to get completed. So it's happening. It's a little more piecemeal than I would have liked. It's nice to just have it all done on one bang, but it's okay. The end result is by January, February, things will be at a good state.
Yeah, the end result's incredible. And I'd just like to ask Nick Stone, and we have a new commissioner. So I believe that means not only our annual, but it's time for a park tour.
Yes.
So early next year, hopefully when it's not raining, hopefully it is raining and it's a day when it's not, and we can go and do a tour, because to see some of this stuff up close is pretty cool.
Rita and I were just talking about that. Yeah, so we had the DPW van, and we could cruise around and check out all the parks, and Rita can tell us the history behind them.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I remember
store.
my favorite one was when Central Marin Police was still like rebar.
Oh,
and Chief Cusimano was like giving us a tour, and I had a boot on my foot from a broken something. We powered through. It was great. So I would ask that we get that on the. I don't know who follows me. Who's vice chair?
It
Is
is Lizbeth Sunshine. Yep.
Perfect. Again, thank you, Rita. That is great. And the work is tremendous.
thank you.
I can't wait until there's power on that pad in Piper.
We're almost there. Almost there.
So close.
So close. Yes.
Thank you. So item number 6 is the director's oral report. And so Nick, I believe you're going to give this, and I'm very excited.
Okay. Drum roll.
Drum roll.
So I do want to thank Commissioner Friedel for this next item. I had this great idea for an event a couple years ago, and it was a perfect pandemic event, and I wanted to pull it off, but it was expensive and difficult. There were a lot of challenges, but Commissioner Friedel pushed me, but she also found a sponsor. So the Commons Foundation is going to sponsor this event, and we're calling it Night Lights at Piper, and it is holiday lighting in the trees at Piper Park. It's going to start on Monday, and it'll be nightly from 5 to 8 p.m. And just kind of a drop-in thing. So kids and families and anybody can come down to the park, walk around. There's going to be about, our contractor had initially planned for 22 trees, and he talked to me today and he said, hey, I've got extra supplies and I've got some staff that really like this job. So they're going to do an extra handful of trees in the park. So it's going to be kind of a very cool vibe. They're going to be multicolored trees, solid colored trees and white colored trees. And he does some really artistic wrapping of the trees. So I'm really excited to see the product. I haven't seen it yet, but it's going to be a really cool thing for families and people around here to just show up at the park in the evening and play on the playground, take a stroll through it. maybe they spend, an hour here, or maybe they never even get out of their car. They're just able to park and kind of see everything and take it in. So really excited. So huge thank you to the Commons Foundation for sponsoring this with the city. So very excited. We, like I said, it's going to start soft opening on Monday. So you won't really know about it. And we're going to start advertising it on Tuesday or Wednesday. And then we're going to do some hot cocoa type events with the foundation, and I'll get you those dates once we have those set. But very excited about it. I've told a few people in my park and rec circles about it, and everybody's really excited. Typically, that kind of stuff happens, downtown or in shopping centers and stuff. So it's sometimes tougher for families to do it, but this is just going to be a very easy come down, play on the playground, take a walk around, and hang out. So
I am so Nick, thank you for getting that done. I know it was a sort of a pipe dream for a while, but you pulled it off. You got sponsor money out of me, and partnered with the city, and I cannot wait to see it. It is going to look amazing. This is a professional contractor who's lighting those giant trees in Piper. This is amazing. So,
yeah, it's going to be cool. Thank you.
yeah. And do you have anything else in your report? I mean, that's sort of hard to follow, but
Yeah.
That is hard to follow. Other than that, Franklin will be back next week. Took a nice long vacation, and theater is starting Beauty and the Beast right now. So Katya and Company is that's what I hear in the afternoons from my office. I hear all the songs. So next commission, I will be sure to sing you the songs because I will know them. And that's about it.
all right. Well, thank you. And thank you for getting that done. So I encourage you all to come out and look. And we are going to have, this is a soft opening week, but we will have a grand welcoming and hot cocoa and cookies and whatever else. And I know Nick's talking to schools about having, groups come out and whatnot. So it's very exciting. Item 7, commissioners' reports. Commissioner Harrison, Commissioner Coppell, is there anything you'd like to report on? Go ahead, Mike.
This is sort of related. It involves Larkspur, and it involves recreation, but not something that's that's an event put on by the city. But I wanted to mention that I did stop by the Larkspur wine stroll a few months back. And it was a very successful event. It was very well attended. As you probably all know, it's a matter of there's different wineries, and they have booths set up along Magnolia. The one comment I wanted to make about this event was that it was so well attended that I noticed that there were people, spilling into the street. And I found it to be a little bit concerning, just because that Magnolia still has traffic going up and down that road, and so I don't know exactly, would that be Public Works, or I don't know if Larkspur Recreation gets involved with that at all, but I think it's something that needs to be considered, whether they need to have more enforcement to make sure that people aren't getting into the street, because obviously alcohol and cars really don't mix. And so I don't know what the answer is, if it's more enforcement or maybe even closing down the road, but I just want to mention that to you all, so that's something we can think about for the future.
I think that's a great call out. It's actually put on by the Larkspur Chamber.
Correct.
In
Yeah.
partnership. So I think that I saw Nick madly taking notes on that. So I imagine that will be thrown up the chain. So I think that's a great call out.
Thank you for the feedback, because we don't always hear everything that happens. That kind of information doesn't always make it to us, and I'm sure that Dan Schwartz wants to know that.
And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mike. Commissioner Harrison?
Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, I did hear a number of people also talk about that event and said it was a great event, and they all wondered why the road wasn't closed for the event so that you could have more strolling and that kind of thing. So yes, I heard it from other folks as well. And I don't know if it's appropriate to comment on the public comment we had this evening.
Technically, no,
Okay,
but I know it's on Nick Stone's radar. So
excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent, because I am finding myself having to go to other communities.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Good.
well, if we go down that road, I'm bringing back up bocce. Just telling you.
I go to another community for that as well. So anyway, I'm absolutely supportive as we contemplate additional programming, particularly for maybe folks that are in their wiser, decades.
I know. I think bocce's in the master plan. I don't know about pickleball, but so I don't necessarily have a true report for this commission, but if anyone tuned in to council last night, there was a discussion more about what's going to happen with City Hall, which we are not going to get involved in, but they did, if you've been paying attention, the city was awarded a $5.2 million matching grant. The Commons Foundation is at 5.175 million. We committed to raise 5 million and we went over. So we're going to match that grant. That gives us $10.4 million to build a new library, community center, library, but we all know what libraries are. So it's very exciting. So the city is moving forward with that. The $5.2 million state grant was a huge win. There's a sign going up on the Rose Lane parcel. Possibly it's there now because it was supposed to go up this afternoon. That, congratulates the city on that grant. What seemed again like another pipe dream a couple of years ago is really moving along. And just as someday that wine stroll could spill into the new town square. So to say that I'm excited beyond belief is an understatement. It's so amazing to see it really start happening. And talking about RFPs and going out to developers and that this community is going to have the library it so deserves. So very excited by that. And that is all. Unless anybody else has any other reporting. I will again extend a welcome to Reed Baxter. Thank you for joining us and agreeing to serve this community. Do you have any comments you'd like to make before we adjourn?
Thank you very much. I'm really excited to be here, really excited to serve the community, and really excited to work with all of you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, I will thank Rita for stepping in and doing a great report again, and Nick for running the meeting in Franklin's absence. Thank you for doing that. I wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. We won't see each other until after that holiday. And I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I will make that motion to adjourn.
Thank you. Mike, I hear he's on mute, but I read his lips. I know he
Yeah.
said I second that
Sorry
motion.
about that. I will second that.
And I don't think we need a roll call for that, correct, Allison? We can just turn this thing off.
Very correct.
Thank you, Allison, for your help as well. Good night, everybody.
Happy
Bye,
Thanksgiving.
everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.